这是歌唱，人老人能心你的感动的三点心的不没太我的，照见的醒了去把手，你的红歌那么的个别大呀。三点却当作给强nam了，张手儿子当你敢死去，大给全年给在三南给，热拉本是三点就把手，三点却当作给强nam了，张手儿子当你敢死去。आगे चलें कि कैसा नाम की रोला मुझे संगे चुपाशो संगे चेदम चौकी चमनामला चांशो अर्ध दबी कप्सी आगे चलें कि कैसा नाम की रोला मुझे संगे चुपाशो Okay, hi. So this is class 6, about forward order reasoning, and it's a little bit
这
complicated.
是第6课关于顺向的四论证是有一点复杂。
When Geshe Michael taught it, he said that in the monastery they studied this for a year and a half. So even when he taught it, it was hard to understand, and I think you might want to just listen to it, and sometimes if you hear something one time, the next time you hear it again, you understand a little better, and the next time you understand a little better, or it makes more sense to you.
这个呢，当初格西在庙里面呢，这个部分是学了1年半才学完的，所以当他在教老师的时候呢，其实要在短短的时间内教这些内容呢，是对很多人来说是没有办法一下就能够吸收的。那老师是建议大家呢，有时候你就是先听，然后以后有机缘再听的话呢，你就会比这次又更了解多一点。那之后如果再有机缘继续听到的话，你就会越了解越多，所以有时候是需要时间的。
And so this material is also, it's not written down anywhere. It's an oral tradition. And so Geshe Michael's teacher, Ken Rinpoche Geshe Lobsang Tarchin, he said he had it written down on a little piece of paper that he gave to Geshe Michael, and that was how he passed it on. But it's not something that is, it's mostly taught in debate class. So it's a way of proving something in a different way. So we'll
所以这个部分呢是在口授传承里面的，所以当初格西的上师肯仁波切教给格西的时候，大部分都是用讲的，那主要是在那个在辩经的环境之下教授的，所以肯仁波切给格西也只有小小一张纸条写的一些就是重点这样子而已，并不像一般有文字的那种经书的那种参考可以看这样子。
So there's 2 ways of going through proving something. You can do it in the forward order and the reverse order, and so that's what
所以你要证明一件事情的时候呢，你有2种证明的方法，就是所谓的顺向跟反向两个方向的 来证明事情的方法。
So forward order would be like you're going from the first thing that happened and then the second thing and the third thing. So for example, you could say, number 1, I went to the store. Number 2, I bought some vegetables. Number 3, I made a salad and I ate it. And number 4, I felt satisfied. That's forward order.
所以顺向来说，今天我们要讲的就是这2种。那顺向来说呢，你可以说，假设是第一步你今天去超级市场，然后第2步你买了一些蔬菜，第3步你回家之后把这些蔬菜做成沙拉，然后第4步就是你吃完了觉得很满意，这就是顺向的意思。
So then the other way, which is what we're going to do today, is the reverse order. And so the same thing would be like this. Number 1, I'm hungry. How can I fix that? Number 2, I ate something. Well, actually, it would be I'm full. Number 1, I'm full. How did I get that way? I ate something. How was I able to eat something? I had to go get something to eat. How did I get something to eat? I went to the store. That's reverse order.
We are not going to talk about that today, right? We are not going to talk about reverse order today, right?
No. No, we're just doing forward order.
Yeah.
I just want to explain the difference between forward order and reverse order.
今天我们没有要讲反向论证，不过反向论证大致上的意思就是老师举的例子说，你第一步是我现在肚子觉得很饱，然后第2步是说，为什么会饱呢？因为我吃了东西。那我要怎么样才能吃东西呢？第3步就是因为我之前去买了菜，就是这种的这个往前推回去的这个顺序呢，叫做反向。
So when Geshe Michael taught it, he used the wheel of life as an example. I thought maybe easier to do something that we're all really familiar with. So I was using salad. But with the wheel of life, it's the same thing. The last point on the wheel of life is death. And so if you want to go in reverse order, which is how he said it, you start out with what causes death. If I want to stop death, what causes it? Birth. And what causes birth? There's the one before that is a pregnant woman. It's like your karma coming together, ripening, and then that creates your birth. And what causes that is your desire, your clinging to the previous life. And if you have that desire or that clinging as you die, that creates the cause for your next birth. So that's the reverse order using the wheel of life.
所以老师刚才举的去买菜吃东西的例子，是我们比较有经验的。那我们通常格西教的时候呢，举的例子就是12因缘。那格西也刚在台湾讲了关于这个12因缘，台湾翻成生命之轮，它就是一个轮回的一个过程。那这12个因缘里面呢，最后一个因缘是死亡嘛。那所以我看一下死亡在之前你就会死亡的前一个那个叫做什么？我突然想不起来。What is the one before death? It's like number 11 is
birth.
Okay.
It's birth.
Yeah, I know. I need to find a translation. Give me a minute. Yeah, I need to find the correct one.
Isn't it in the?
It's in the notes. I was looking for the note, but I cannot find. Let's see.
He talks about it right under Lungdog.
Yeah, but still didn't mention the exactly translation. So just give me a minute. I want to pull out a note.
Oh, sure.
Sorry about that.
Sure. No problem. It's hard to do this.
Because
this
Geshe-la just talked a lot about 12 link in Taiwan, so I think people are pretty familiar. Yeah, I just need to find a correct translation. Where is that?
Oh, somebody's chatting with you.
Yeah, so I guess 好，那个是声，11个音源是声。我还是把我的笔记拿出来，免得等一下。为什么嘞？永生老师，I cannot find it. Alright, let me just do this way. 老师说呢，如果你是从12因缘的老死推回去，老死的前一个是生嘛，所以这就是反向论证，然后你就要考虑说，为什么会有老死，就是会有之前有的一个生的问题，那为什么会有生，你要再往回推，这个顺序就是一个反向论证的一个做法。All right.
Okay. So if you're using the wheel of life in the forward order, then you go from ignorance, the blind man, and that ignorance causes you to create raw karma. That's the potter, and then that goes around the circle, and that raw karma ripens as your next life.
但是如果要在12因缘里面做顺向论证的话，那你就要从第一个无明开始，然后再到心，然后就照着这个顺序顺时钟的方向，一个接着一个，一个是前，这样子，就是顺向论证。
So in the forward order, what the Wheel of Life does is it proves, or it shows you how you can become a Buddha. And in the reverse order, it proves that a Buddha can exist.
所以以12因缘来说呢，这个顺向论证呢，是在跟你证明说，你要怎么一步一步的能够成佛。那反向论证呢，是在跟你证明说，佛是可以The reverse order mean the Buddha could be exist or could be caused. That's what you said.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry, I think I said the Wheel of Life, but here we're talking about the this reasoning that we're giving here about that we're about to give, and and the reverse order will prove that a Buddha can exist. And the forward order will show you how to become a Buddha.
所以我们刚才讲错了不是12因缘，是现在我们要讲的这个顺向四论证。以顺向的这个四论证来讲，是要证明说你要如何一步一步能够成佛。那反向的这个四论证呢，是要证明说佛是可以被创造出来的。
Okay. So what we're using here is the very beginning. I think it was in the first class. He's quoting from Master Dignaga, and it's the very beginning of his book. And what he says is, "I bow to the one who turned correct, who helps all beings, the teacher, the one who went to bliss, and our protector." This is from the very first reading of the. It's not in the notes here, but we went over this in the first class.
第一堂课的时候，我们就有讲说，那个陈那菩萨在《极量论》的开头的寄颂文，就是礼敬曾量利有情尊师善士救护者这个部分，我们在第一堂课还是第二堂课就已经讲了。
Okay, so what he's doing here is he's going through So he uses Master Dignaga's opening statement, and it has these 5 different elements. The one who turned correct, the one who helps all beings, the teacher, the one who went to bliss, and our protector. And it's all the same. It's all recurring to Lord Buddha. And so when Master Dharmakirti wrote about it, he took these different points, and he was trying to show how one of them would lead to the next. So if you're, for example, if you're a protector, then how does that mean that, or I'm sorry, if you're they say Lord Buddha is totally correct. Now, how do you become totally correct? By being a protector, for example. And so he's showing how all these are interconnected with each other. And that's what this, what these.
所以法称论是在这边呢，是采用陈那菩萨的那个《极量论》的寄颂文里面的各个关于佛的一些描述。那他在他是用彼此之间的关联来证明说，例如说如果你是完全他是如何成为一个救护者啊，然后因为他是完全正确或者什么这样子彼此之间的关联，他用这个来证明。
So the first one is how do we know that Lord Buddha is one who has turned correct? Now, when you talk about turned correct, it implies that he wasn't always. First of all, correct refers to somebody who is he's gotten rid of all of his mental afflictions and he knows all things. Basically, that's an enlightened being. And when they say Lord Buddha turned correct, the implication is that he wasn't always a Buddha, that he became a Buddha. So then we're saying, what did he have to do to become a Buddha?
所以什么叫做完全正确的存在呢？就是一个佛呢他是我怎么讲？他为什么能够佛为什么会是完全正确What I'm gonna start with, he's it's very long and I kind of forgot how it goes. He's a correct person because he's a protector, right? And so
yeah, he turned correct because he was a protector.
因为他是一个救护者，所以他才有办法成为一个完全正确的。那所谓完全正确的存在，就是指的就是佛。那这边讲说他是一个完全正确的存在，他在暗示什么呢？他就在暗示说。他是承办，这是他后来转成正确的，他承办正确，那表示他在承办之前他也是一个普通人，所以意思是说佛也是从一个普通人经过一步一步的前进累积，最后才成为佛的。
So then we say, well, what does it mean to be a protector? And the way they're defining here protector is they say, a protector is somebody who teaches the 4 Arya truths, and by that way, by teaching, helps people to free themselves from suffering. Because there's really no way that a Buddha can help you other than by teaching you. So he protects you by teaching you the 4 Arya truths.
所以这边讲说什么是一个救护者呢？因为他是教你4圣谛的人，那他之所以能够保护你，是因为他有办法教你这个4圣谛，让你能够脱离你的痛苦，所以他是用这种方式保护你。
So then you might say, well, how do the 4 Arya truths help me? And how do I even know that that means he's correct? Because I don't know if those things are correct myself. When we look at the 4 Arya truths, the first one he describes is suffering, the nature of our suffering. And Lord Buddha described that better than anybody else. he would even say that you could say a delicious dinner is suffering, and nobody would say that. But Lord Buddha said that because the end of everything ends, and the end of things is suffering. So when we look at the way he described suffering, then we can understand that the other things he said might be also correct. And by teaching them, he is our protector.
所以那四圣谛他教我们四圣谛，所以他成为一个救护者。那他教的四圣谛是怎么个救护我们呢？那我们就要检查说这四圣谛对我们的人生有什么帮助，或者他是怎么个教我们的。那四圣谛里面就讲的苦集灭道的第一个苦呢，是几乎没有，应该是没有人这样子教的，除了佛以外，因为他会讲说，一顿美好的晚餐呢也是受苦。那所有的人都会觉得一顿美好的晚餐怎么可能会是受苦呢？可是佛就这样子教了嘛。那仔细去思考呢，就知道说，当然是受苦啊，因为所有的事物的终点都是一个受苦的取向。所以借由检视四圣谛的第一个圣谛。是讲的如此的正确，所以我们能够跟自己证明佛是完全正确的，所以他就有办法教我们，因此能成为一个救护者。
So this is the first reasoning, and each one of these reasonings is named after the thing that is used to prove it. So, for instance, this one is, consider our teacher, he is someone who turned perfectly correct because he is our protector. And so they call that the reasoning of the protector.
所以所有的那个论证呢，都是以最后这个他的理由来命名的，所以这个论证叫做以尊师而言，他是承办正确良知的人，因为他是救护者，所以这个论证就叫做救护者的论证。救护者的推理。看到。
Okay. Oh, okay. So the reason that we call him a protector is because he is teaching, and because of his teachings, it will protect us from our own mental afflictions and our own suffering. And that's why they say that the speech of an enlightened being is their highest activity, even more so than their thoughts and their actions. Their speech, because they can teach us, is really their highest.
所以说他是借由教我们四圣谛来帮我们从烦恼中解脱的。因此他们说呢，一个开悟者呢，最殊胜的不是他们的他们最殊胜的行为就是他们的言语。因为他们可以透过言语来教我们嘛，他们教的法比他们的意识或其他的都来得更殊胜，因为就是这个教法，他们对我们说的话呢，宣讲的话呢，能够帮助我们解脱。
So then we get to the second reasoning of the forward order, and that's called the reasoning of the one who went to bliss.
那第二个顺向四论证的第二个推理叫做善事的推理。
Now, when we say that Lord Buddha went to bliss, this means he was able to get rid of all of his bad qualities and also to realize all things. So when you say, in Tibetan, you say Buddha, they call him Sangye. And Sangye means, Sang means you've cleaned away all the negativities. And Gye means, it means like expansion. It means I've realized all things. So those are the two qualities of the Buddha.
所以在藏文里面的佛呢，是叫做三给，三就是一个净化去除的部分，然后给就是增加兴盛这个意思。那这两个字合在一起讲的就是佛的特质。
So this proof here is it says, consider our teacher. He is the protector because he has eliminated all undesirable
所以
qualities.
这个论证呢是讲说，以我们的导师而言呢，他是救护者，因为他已经净除了所有不良的素质。
And that's the definition.
这个就是那个善事去到极乐这个字的定义。
So he's able to this one is he's our protector because he knows all things and he's gotten rid of all of his negative
所以
qualities.
他是我们的救护者，因为他已经知道所有一切应该知道的事情，然后他也舍去了所有净除掉所有不好的特质。
So when they talk about the truth of suffering, that's the first of the four Arya truths. They say that it's not just that we have suffering, but that our impure body and mind are the truth of suffering. And so it's because we are the truth of suffering, then and Lord Buddha has eliminated all of that, then it means that he's a protector, that he is capable of teaching us how to do the same thing.
所以当我们在讲说四圣谛的第一个谛苦谛的时候，他讲的不是说一切事物都是受苦的这个40多原则，他讲的是指我们不纯净的身心，还有身心附属的那些就是身心的所有都就是苦，它就是苦谛本身。那佛呢，因为他知道如何去除这些，所以他就能够教我们，因此他是我们的守护者。
So then we get to the third reasoning of the forward order, that's called the reasoning of the teacher.
色相论证的第三个推理叫做尊师的推理。
And then that the way they articulate that reasoning is, consider our teacher. He has eliminated all undesirable qualities because he is a teacher of emptiness.
所以这个论证的内容是说呢，以我们的导师而言呢，他已经净除一切不良的素质，是因为他是教空性的老师。
So then later on they expand that to say, consider that teacher. It's true he has previously eliminated all undesirable qualities, because during his time on the path of learning, he has for the sake of others acted in every way to practice continually the subjects of selflessness and so on, because he has reached the final perfection of this same
所以
practice.
在一个比较长版的、比较完整版的论证里面呢，是说以这个老师而言呢，这是真的，他已经完全净除了所有不良的素质，因为他在修道的阶段，以所有的举动都是为了他人来修行关于无我的所缘以及等等，并且已经达到这个修行最终的圆满。
So what this is referring to is that Lord Buddha practiced the perfections, the 6 perfections, as a bodhisattva for 3 countless eons, long time. And as a result of that, he saw emptiness directly, and he was able to get rid of all his negativities and become enlightened. And so that means that he is the the teacher, right?
所以这些话的意思是什么呢？是指说佛还在他是菩萨的阶段呢，他修行6度波罗蜜，经过非常长的时间，就是3大阿僧祇劫的那个时间，终于成佛，然后所以他就可以当我们的老师。
So the reasoning of the teacher, I'll say, this is number 3. How do we know that Lord Buddha has gone to bliss? Because he is a teacher.
所以我们第3个论证是在说，我们怎么知道佛已经成为善士呢？就是已经去到极乐了呢？我们证明的理由是因为他是我们的导师因为他是我们的老师，他是教空性的老师。
So it means that he became enlightened because these are all the things that are not mentioned. He developed great compassion, and in order to help all beings, he set out on the path. He saw emptiness directly, and he followed that path, and as a result of that, he became a teacher, and that caused him to become enlightened, or to go to bliss.
You said see emptiness and result as, what is the result? As a Buddha?
Yeah, well, you see emptiness, and then you understand where your world is coming from, and then you work on it for a long time, and then you become.
所以呢，圣人讲的就是佛是如何成佛呢？是因为他在这段时间里面，他先发展出了慈悲心，就是很大的菩提心，就是所谓的法缘慈悲。然后呢，他见证空性，之后又经过很长时间的修行，成为佛，所以让他成为所谓的善士，就是去到极乐的人因为这样他才能够来教我们。
So then number 4 is called the reasoning of great compassion, and the argument here is, consider our teacher. He is a teacher of emptiness because he has wholly great compassion.
所以这个法缘慈悲的推论呢，是这样讲的，就是说以我们的导师而言呢，他是教空性的老师，因为他有大慈大悲。
So this is called the teaching of great compassion. So there's a difference between compassion, great compassion, and holy.
所以在英文 compassion 是慈悲的意思嘛，那但是我们又区分成3种慈悲，一种叫做就是 compassion 的慈悲，那中文叫做生源慈悲，然后 great compassion 就是很大的慈悲嘛，那中文应该是翻成法缘慈悲，那最后一个就是 holy great compassion， 就是最神圣伟大的慈悲，所以中文应该叫做大慈大悲。
So regular compassion is you see somebody suffering and you say, oh that's sad. I wish they didn't.
那所以生源慈悲是什么意思呢？生源慈悲就是看到其他人受苦，然后就觉得很不舍，就会有一种希望他不要受苦的那样子的心愿。这种慈悲心叫做生源慈悲。
So in Tibetan, that's called Nyingje. Nyingje, it refers to heart. And that's just regular compassion. Then there's the next one is Nyingje Chempo. Chempo means big. So it's great compassion.
所以藏文慈悲叫做 Ningje 就是一个心的意思，它是慈悲的意思。那也就是生源慈悲的藏文。那法源慈悲呢，叫做 Ningje Chempo，你可以在很多那个藏文的颂文里面看到所谓的谦波这两个字，中文应该是翻译成谦波，意思就是伟大的意思。所以比一般的生源慈悲还要更伟大的，就叫做法源慈悲。
But here we're talking about Tuche Chenpo. In this argument here, it's the holy great compassion.
那
it's a complete. The word for compassion here is
那
completely
大慈大悲叫做 Tuje Chempo， 那又跟前面的那两个Ningje 的是完全不一样的一个字，叫做 Tuje。所以这个大慈大悲是跟之前两个不太一样的。
So this gets into in Tibetan there's two different languages. One of them is for regular people, and one of them is for very high saints or enlightened beings. So what for a normal person you would say Nyingje, that means compassion, but for somebody who's very like an enlightened being, they would say Tuche Chenpo. And so Tuk is the name for the heart of a Buddha. So it means holy. We translate it as holy great compassion.
这个 Tuk 呢是那个佛陀的心的意思。那在藏文里面有两种语言，一种是一般人使用的藏文，一种是只有对圣者才能使用的敬语。那 Tuje 呢跟 Ningje 呢 ，Ningje 是用在一般人身上的慈悲，那 Tuje 是只能用在佛身上的慈悲。
So then again, the statement here is consider our teacher. He's a teacher of emptiness because he has holy great compassion. So he has the compassion of a Buddha, meaning he wants to help us, and he also, because he's understanding emptiness, and he understands completely how to get us out of suffering. So he has holy great compassion, so he becomes a teacher of emptiness to help us, and that makes him our teacher.
所以这个论证的过程是说，因为他有大慈大悲，所以他教我们空性，也因此他成为我们的老师嘛。那现在讲的之前我们这几个论证的顺序讲起来就是这样子。
So we say, so all of these together are the teaching, the forward order of how, the four reasonings in the forward order, how you can become, what is the path to become a Buddha?
那所以这顺向四论证的总结就是说，你要凭借着什么样的东西才能成佛？凭借怎么样的道途才能成佛？
So there's a summary here. It says, consider our teacher. He is not someone who is totally correct and unchanging, who was just that way from the beginning. Because he became that way by practicing for a long time, a great many methods that were part of a cycle of life and also beyond it. And he did so over a course of many different kinds of lives he has taken, driven all the while by his great compassion. So that takes in all five of those points that we mentioned before.
所以他这个总结就是以尊师而言，他不是那个他不是某个完全不变，完全正确但是不变的对。 它不是某个完全正确且不变的。这个地方我要杀掉，这个地方不小心打错了。应该是说以尊师而言，它不是某个完全正确且不变的，从一开始就这样的。因为它是透过长时间的修行才变成这样的，许多的方便既是轮回的一部分，但也超越轮回，而且它是在许多不同的转世过程中承办的，以他的慈悲通过所有的时间。这总结了之前我们讲的所有的那些点。
So we can take those 5 points again. I bow to the one who turned correct. And we say that because he can teach, his teachings prove that he's correct. And he only teaches things that he has actually realized himself.
So I need to find
Oh, I don't... That's in my notes that I just made today when I was reviewing.
You say...
Let me say
Can you say it again?
Yeah, so he turned perfectly correct.
完全正确。
And that means his teachings prove that he's correct. And he only teaches things that he has realized.
他的教学呢，是证明他是正确的。那他也只有因为他自己能够完全领悟，因此他才有办法教。
And then he's the one who wishes to help all beings, and that's because he has holy great compassion.
他是一个想要利有情所有一切众生的人，为什么呢？因为他有大慈大悲。
And then we say he's the teacher because he teaches emptiness, and that is because he was a bodhisattva, he practiced the perfections, he had direct perception of emptiness, and then he became a teacher of emptiness, and at the same time eliminated all his...
所以他是尊师，是因为他能够教空性。那他能教空性，是因为他自己净除了所有的负面不良的素质，所以他才有办法教我们空性。因为教了空性，所以他才成为我们的老师。
So, and then he is the one who has gone to bliss because he's eliminated all his bad qualities and he's realized he has a direct perception of everything.
那他是成为善士，就是去到极乐的人，是因为他了解了空性，直观的空性，他有办法直观是宇宙中所有的一切事物。
And then finally, he's our protector because he teaches.
那最后他是成为我们的救护者，是因为他教我们是圣地。
So let me see. So those so we've covered the four reasonings.
所以我们刚讲完了顺向四论证。
Okay, so then in the homework he's asking which of the four reasonings relates to perfected thought and which to perfected action.
那作业当中有一题会问你说，4个推理中哪个是关于圆满，就是完美的思想，又哪个是关于圆满的行为呢？
So the fourth one, the reasoning of great compassion, relates to perfected thoughts because compassion it's a thought. It's a thought that you want to that you are going to help others in order, because you can't stand their suffering. So you will go and do yourself to help others.
法源慈悲的推理是关于圆满的思想，因为慈悲本身就是一种想法，一种因为你无法忍受别人受苦，想要帮助他们的这种念头，所以 慈悲本身是一种思想，因此法源慈悲的推理是关于圆满的思想。
And then the third one, the reasoning of the teacher, is related to perfected action, which is what the main teaching is emptiness, and so the perfect action is the direct perception of emptiness.
尊师的推理呢是关于圆满的行为，因为它是教你空性，那教你空性本身就是一个圆满的行为。
And then I suppose perfected speech, they don't ask about that. That would be teaching emptiness.
But you say teaching emptiness is mean the...
Well, they're asking about perfected thought and perfected action. But normally they talk about thoughts and actions and speech. But he already said before that the speech of a Buddha is the perfected speech of a Buddha. That's teaching emptiness. That's why they say speech is the highest.
So the speech is considered an action, right? It's under no.
Well, here they have the action is the perfection of emptiness. So really, that's you sit down and meditate and you see emptiness directly.
Okay. 所以刚才好像有点讲错，就是尊师的推理是因为为什么他是尊师呢？因为他现证空性。那现证空性本身这个行为动作呢，它就是一个圆满的行为。那还有一个问题人家没有问，但是就叫做说什么是圆满的言语言语。圆满的言语呢，就是说他教授我们空性的这个动作，因为他讲空性给我们听，所以这个是圆满完美的话语。但是行为呢，圆满的行为是什么？是现证空性本身。那什么样证明他是尊师呢？因为他现证空性，所以尊师的推理是关于圆满的行为。
So now sometimes they talk about the two goals that a Buddha is perfecting. When you get enlightened, you perfect two goals. One of them is your own goal, for yourself, and the other one is others' goals. So the next question on your homework is about that. It's which of the four reasonings relates to fulfilling your own goals, and which one refers to fulfilling others' goals.
一般来讲呢，他们会说有两个目标。那所以你作业的另外一题又问说，4个推理中哪个是关于个人目标之达成，哪个又是关于他人目标之达成？所以有分个人目标跟他人目标。
So the first one is when he talks about going to bliss. That's reasoning number 2. Going to bliss. That is the fulfillment of your own goals if you're an enlightened being, because it means you're getting rid of all of your negative qualities and you're having all.
所以第二个推理，那个善事的推理讲的就是关于个人目标之达成。如果你是一个佛的话，你个人的目标就是要净除一切不良的素质，跟领悟一切的道理。
And then the next one is the reasoning of the protector, which is the number 1, the first reasoning, which talks about working to protect all beings. And the way that a Buddha protects all beings is by teaching them. And so when the Buddha teaches you, and then you follow the teachings, then you get your own goals fulfilled. So that's how a Buddha helps others.
所以那救护者的推理呢，他就是在透过教你来佛教众生，所以能够来救其他众生， 从苦海里解脱嘛。那这就是关于他人目标的达成，因为他所做的行为都是为了其他人来做的。
So then in the commentary, this is the commentary that they're talking about, is a commentary on Master Dharmakirti, and it was written by Geshe Yeshe Wangchuk, who was he was alive even during our lifetimes. He died, I think, in the late 90s. But he wrote a book about logic that is one of the best books that's been written. And that was what was used for this.
Oh, I remember he died just a couple years ago. Oh, really?
It was in 97.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
那所以格西一希望丘格西呢，在他的注释，他用另外一种方式来呈现法腾论师的圣相四论证。那一希望丘格西呢，有他是没多久前才过世的，老师记得应该是在1997年，所以他算是跟我们同一个时代的人。
So in his commentary, he also presents the opposite direction of these reasonings, and how that goes is that first you have compassion, and this is in order to become enlightened. So first you have compassion, and then that creates a chain of events that will turn you into a Buddha.
那在一希望丘格西的注释当中呢，他讲的是另外一个顺序，他是说是由法缘慈悲开始的，生缘慈悲开始的，然后之后呢，由于你有这个生缘慈悲，你就引发了一连串的那个因果，让你最终成佛。
So the compassion will cause you to want to. First, you have compassion. You want to help all beings. So you say, okay, I'm going to practice to get to enlightenment. And so that practice causes you to, it removes your mental afflictions and causes you to create perfect knowledge. And so that makes you a protector. And a protector, which is somebody who can perfectly teach all beings and allow them to become enlightened as well.
You said protector is somebody who can teach.
Yeah, that's how they're defining protector. A protector is the only way you can protect somebody is by teaching them, because then they know how to act and how to, how to plant seeds and how to, all of that.
所以这个顺序是说呢，因为你有这个生缘慈悲，所以你就决心你要修行。那因为你修行，所以你就要除去很多的烦恼障碍。然后因为你除去了烦恼的障碍，然后你就得到了知识。有了知识之后，你就能智慧你就能够成为一个救护者。那你成为一个救护者，你就会教所有的众生，因为你是透过教人家来保护人家的嘛。所以因为你教了所有的众生这样子来证明所以你是一个佛，这是他的论证的顺序。
So as you can see here, that the compassion is the first thing that comes. It's the very beginning of the path is compassion, and that compassion leads you to follow the path and to become enlightened, and therefore be able to perfectly protect others.
所以可以看到说是这个生缘慈悲呢，引导你进到可以进到开悟，然后你才有办法完美的 圆满的保护其他众生，透过教他们佛法。
So, according to the scriptures, after you achieve great compassion, you decide you're going to lead your life in order to help others and become enlightened. Then on the Mahayana path, it takes 3 countless eons. That's really, really long time. It's an eon is I think they say like 50,000 years or something like that. And countless is it's 3 countless. So, and countless means to the 60th power. So 3 to the 60th power times an eon, which is I think it's 50,000 years. Long, long time. And so that is many, many lifetimes in order to.
That's after you develop the great compassion. OK.
Yeah, which is really hard to begin with.
所以呢，他们是说呢，这个一旦要得到那个法缘慈悲已经很难了。那一旦你得到法缘慈悲之后呢，要修到成佛呢，是好像3大阿僧祇劫的话，老师有拿数学算来出来，应该就是理论上据推测应该是5万年的时间，所以应该是有很多辈子要走，很久很久的时间。
So the reason I'm mentioning this is because in this commentary that we're using here, Master Dharmakirti goes on to talk about there was arguments at his time that it's not possible to become enlightened because there are no future lives and there's no past lives. And they were using a particular philosophical school that they were debating this philosophical school that says there's no past and future lives.
那为什么会提到这个需要5万年的时间呢？这就是我们的法身论师在证明这一刻要证明有来世的时候，因为他在跟那个外道相信没有来世的那个教派在辩论嘛，所以是说因为需要5万年的时间才有办法，那光这一辈子是太短了，不可能的，所以一定要有未来世才有办法完成这个成佛的这个艰巨的任务。
So a lot of modern philosophers, and particularly Western philosophers, say the same thing. They say there's no past or future life. Most people, actually, at least where I live, most people don't believe in past or future lives. They might believe that there's one future life, you go to heaven or hell, and that's it. But they don't have the idea that the mind stream continues forever. They don't have that idea, most people. So Geshe Michael thought it would be good to discuss this argument in this course so that people would understand what the logic is.
那因为老师是住在西方，他们西方人至少他生存的周遭环境的人呢，相信是没有未来世的，也没有过去式。那最多就是顶多说你死了之后上天堂或下地狱，那也只有一世这样子而已所以没有那个像佛教的那种观念，所以格西会觉得说在这边要来讨论一下这种现代西方人的这种对过去未来世的那个观点，不相信有过去未来世的那个的观点。
So he brings up this school called Charvakas, and they have this belief, the same belief, that they say that the body, the mind depends on the body. So that, for example, when the body dies, the mind dies. And it's very similar to what Western science says. When the body dies and the brain stops, then the mind stops, and then that's the end of you. So when your mind starts, either, I think often they say at birth, either at conception or birth, and then at death, the mind is finished.
所以可惜这边就引用的是印度的一个派外道的派别叫做顺势派。 他们就是不相信有过去跟未来世的，那就以法称论师跟他们这些论点之间的辩论呢，等于说借用这个来基本上他们跟现代的那个西方的相信的那个主张是差不多的，因为顺世派主张是心是依附或依赖于身体的，就像身体死亡或脑停止的时候呢，意识同样也就停止了，就没有任何存在了。所以他们是认为意识是始于受孕，然后结束于死亡。
So the Charvakas specifically say 3 things about the mind and the body, and those are on your homework, so we'll go through them.
所以你们作业有在问说顺世派是宣称是用心是以哪3种方法依附于身的？
So first of all, they say that the mind is a quality of the body, like it's one of the aspects of the body. So, for example, they say it's like the ability to intoxicate is a quality of alcohol.
他们说呢，第一种是说心是身体的一种素质，一种面相，例如说酒精有使人醉的这种能力，这种特质，这样子。
So it's like the mind is just an aspect of the body, or it's not something separate from the body, but it's something that the body does. Sort of like maybe like hearing is an aspect of the body, or being able to move is an aspect of the body. Then the mind is just like that. It's a quality of the body.
所以说他们这种说法是说因为他的心理意识就像身体一个特征或面向，就像是说我的身体能够听得到声音，那个听得到声音这本身呢是依附于身体的，它是身体的某个特征或者一个面向，所以他们把心理意识呢当作是这样子依附于身体的一种作用，或者是身体所呈现出来的。
Then the second one is that the mind is dependent on the body, sort of like the way their example is that a design that you put on the wall is dependent on the wall. So if you take the wall away, the design goes away, and if you take the body away, the mind goes away.
那第二种说法是说心是依附于身体，它是身体的一个性质，好像是墙壁上的那个图案或设计是墙壁一部分的性质这样子。
And then the third one is that the mind is a result of the body, so that the example is like light is the result of the lamp, and it's like if you I think this is more like when you have a baby being formed in the womb, that part of the thing that is being formed is the mind. So it's result of having the body, but you also have the mind.
所以这边是讲说心是身体的一个产物，像是亮光是因为开灯的结果，那你的心是就是有这个，因为你有这个身体的结果，就是有这个意识这样。
So now, unfortunately, this was the end of this class. So I believe we finished this. Next week we'll cover more about this. But if anybody has any questions.
老师说他相信我们这堂课应该就是要讲的就是讲到这里，应该你们如果有问题的话就可以问了。
Any questions?
I think there's probably a lot.
I know this is a really hard class. I mean, it's for me. It's hard. But I like the concept. I think it's really beautiful to think of that.
所以有人需要开麦克风吗？They won't have an example of what is the great compassion.
Well, this regular compassion is just if you feel sorry for somebody, and you don't like if you say you're driving down the street and there's somebody's had an accident and they're sitting in their car and the car is demolished. So then you say, "Oh, that's too bad," but you don't do anything about it. So that's regular compassion. Great compassion is where you get to the point where you say, it's bad that, I feel for the suffering of others and I'm going to do something about it. Basically, it's the point when you're supposed to take your bodhisattva vows. It's that. It's when you decide to become a bodhisattva, and that's what you're going to actually act and change your life in order to help others. That's great compassion.
所以生源慈悲呢，就像说是你开车经过一个车祸，然后你看到别人车撞烂，然后你心里觉得很难过，希望别人平安，这样子的一种发心呢，就是一般的生源慈悲。那法缘慈悲呢，我本来以为老师是要说所以你应该就会停下车来去帮助那个车祸的人。不过老师没有这样讲，老师是说法缘慈悲呢，就是在那个时候是你简单来讲，就是你下决心要受菩萨戒的时候，就是你决定要把众生的利益承担在自己身上，你决定要身体力行为众生做些什么，所以你要改变自己的生命状态，来帮助别人的这个决心，要成为一个菩萨的这种愿心是法缘慈悲。以现象论证。说话的是，我们今天讲的全部都是顺向哦，那只是说也都是法成论师讲的哦，只是说后面有一个格西一希望求他解释的他有自己他一套的解释，跟我们看到法成论师自己写在他书上的解释，我猜是好像，因为这个我是第一次听到，我要问老师一下。People is asking the way Geshe Eshe Wangcho, his commentary is when to talk about the forward water, which is the other one is Karen, which is oral transmission, right? So this two-way is in different order or still the same order or just different approach?
I'm not really sure. He said that it was an oral commentary. So maybe the way that Geshe Yeshiwonchu describes it isn't exactly. I think what he's doing is he's giving certain categories, and then Geshe Michael is taking those and putting them into the forward order and he didn't do the reverse order, but I think so. I have to check and find out though. I'm not 100% sure.
But Geshe Ishiwancho also didn't do the reverse order, right? He's also just give the forward order. Okay.
Yeah.
所以老师说他也不是100%确，因为前面第一个部分讲的是肯仁波切传给格西的口述传承的部分，来解释法称论师他这个顺向四论证。那后面是格西一希望丘他在他的注释里面写下来的。那这两个呢，到底有什么差别？老师说他也不确定，他可能还要回去查。那但是这两个讲的都是顺向，都没有在讲反向。So they still want you to give an example about what is what is the great compassion. They still want the example. What behavior consider the great compassion?
The behavior might be very much the same. It's really the thought behind the behavior.
Okay, 好。老师的意思是说呢，你要的什么大慈大悲的状况，那些其实这些过程跟一般的慈悲心可能都是一样的，就是说你可能都是在帮助一个人做同样一件事情，可是呢，基于你的动机才能决定说这只是生缘慈悲还是这是法缘慈悲。所以如果你的动机只是普通的慈悲心，那就是生缘慈悲。如果你的动机是一个菩萨行、菩萨道的人的动机，一个菩萨的动机，那做同样一件事情，它就会成为一个法缘慈悲的状况。
There's a prayer that they do in the monastery. It goes, may all beings be free from, it goes through different things, but I'll just give a generalization. May all beings be free from suffering. Or how nice it would be if all beings were free from suffering. And then the next thing is, I myself will see that they are free from suffering. So that's the difference. It's like how nice it would be if they didn't suffer. And I'm going to make sure that they don't suffer. That's the difference between regular compassion and great compassion.
老师说在寺院里面呢，有那种祈祷文，那这祈祷文里面有2句话，一种呢就是讲的就是生缘慈悲，一种就是法缘慈悲。第一种就是说，如果大家都能从痛苦中解脱，不知道该有多好。这个就是生缘慈悲，就是如果大家都能够不再受苦，该有多好的这样的心愿。那但是法缘慈悲是什么？就是说我本人要来确保大家都能够从痛苦解脱，这样的决心就变成法缘慈悲。There's another question relate to the last class about the Buddha have the mission. So if Buddha already know your future, does that mean you right now cannot change your future because he already know your future? And then, but ideally, right, if you can accumulate different causes, then you suppose can design your own future. But it seems like he already know your future. Then what's going on?
Well, just because Buddha knows your future doesn't mean you do. But this is a question that comes up a lot, whether or not you actually have free will or not. Big debate at Diamond Valley.
All right, so that's your answer?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think you see, the thing is that, it doesn't mean that ultimately everyone will be enlightened. That's one. And it's just a matter of how long it takes. And, it just, so yeah, I think it means that your ultimate future is fixed. You will become a Buddha.
Okay. 关于佛可以知道过去未来，那佛所知的未来是否是可变的未来呢？这位同学，你非常的坚持要问这一题，可是很不幸的，你得到的答案就是这是一个几乎没有答案的辩论题。为什么？这个终究是在讨论说我们人有没有自由意志这件事情。那大家可以辩一辈子关于人有没有自由意志，就是说你现在所做的任何事情，因为过去的种子造成你现在这样子做，那所以你现在的做法又可以影响到未来。那如果现在是由过去决定，那你是不是现在完全没有任何自由意志可以来决定未来呢？所以老实说，基本上这个就是大家辩来辩去，辩到后来也是没有个什么标准答案啦。但是我就说，那老师你的回答就只有这样子吗？他是说理论上啦，终极来说呢，我们每一个人都会成佛，只是时间的多寡不同而已。所以你要说佛可以看到你的未来也没错啊，他会看到我们每一个人都会成佛，但是你自己看不到。那所以以这样子来讲，的确他已经看到你的未来了，那你未来也不可能会改变，因为你终究会成佛，那是终极的，只是时间多寡，那你的过程要怎么样的问题。那请你回去继续报吧。Yeah, I already finished. 还有问题？都没有吗？没有。We have class next week, right? You are okay? Okay. 所以我们下礼拜有课，那如果都没有问题，我们就要来祈祷文结束。All right. So let's do the prayer. Yeah.
We good? Okay. I hope everybody does their homework and understands.
老师说，希望大家都能够没有问题来做作业，然后都能了解所有的一切。
Sashi Baki Juxing Meto Chang Rirab Lingxi Nide Ganpati Sangye Shindu Nite Uwaki Drauken Namdai Shingla Chipashu Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniryatayam Kewadi Kewokon Sunam Nishe Sotsokshing Sunam Nishe Lechongwei Dampa Konye Doparsho. Okay, thank you.
大家下礼拜见。